Imagine this. It's the middle of the night in a quiet Oregon suburb. A little girl, just 5 years old, is tucked into her bed, surrounded by her favorite stuffed animals. Her mother, exhausted from a double shift, kisses her forehead before heading to work. But when she returns in the early morning hours, the bed is empty. The window is wide open, curtains fluttering in the cool autumn breeze. The girl is gone, vanished without a trace. For 9 agonizing years, her mother searches, clinging to fading hope, haunted by questions with no answers. Then, one ordinary day, she picks up an old toy recorder, presses play, and hears something that shatters her world. A secret so dark, so twisted, it will lead to one of the most shocking discoveries in true crime history. Welcome to the Crime O'Clock, where we dive deep into the mysteries that keep you up at night. I'm your narrator, and today, we're unraveling a case that's equal parts heartbreaking and horrifying. This is the story of Lily Harper, a little girl who disappeared from Portland, Oregon, in 1991, and the chilling truth her mother, Clara Bennett, uncovered nearly a decade later. Be warned, this story contains themes of child abduction and abuse, so viewer discretion is advised. If you're sensitive to these topics, it's okay to step away. But if you're ready to join us on this journey, buckle up, because this one's going to stay with you long after the video ends. Before we begin, let's get you locked in. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a story. Give this video a thumbs up if you're ready to dive into one of the most unforgettable cases we've ever covered. And in the comments, let me know. Have you ever heard a true crime story that changed how you see the world? Drop your thoughts below, and let's start this clock ticking. It's October 15th, 1991, in a quiet corner of Portland, Oregon. The leaves are turning crimson and gold, and the air carries that crisp autumn chill. In a charming craftsman-style home on Elm Street, Clara Bennett is pulling on her scrubs, getting ready for another grueling double shift at the hospital. She's a nurse, the kind who pours her heart into every patient. But tonight, her mind is on her 5-year-old daughter, Lily Harper. Before leaving, Clara tiptoes into Lily's room. The little girl is fast asleep, her blonde curls spilling across a pillow, a stuffed unicorn clutched tightly in her arms. The ceiling above her bed is dotted with glow-in-the-dark star stickers, a reminder of Lily's love for stargazing with her mom. Clara smiles, brushes a kiss on her daughter's forehead, and whispers, "Sleep tight, my little comet." She has no idea that this moment, this quiet, perfect moment, is the last time she'll see her daughter for nearly a decade. Clara's husband, Daniel Harper, is already asleep in their bedroom down the hall. He's a carpenter, known for his meticulous work crafting wooden figurines, owls, foxes, little stars with intricate details. At 38, he's the steady, quiet type, the kind of man who fixes things around the house without being asked. Clara and Daniel have been married for 12 years, and while their love isn't perfect, it's held together by shared dreams and their adoration for Lily. But lately, things have been tense. Daniel spends long hours in his basement workshop, and Clara's night shifts mean they barely see each other. Still, they make it work, or so Clara thinks. As she grabs her keys and heads out into the chilly night, the house is silent, save for the soft creak of the front door closing behind her. Clara's shift at the hospital is exhausting. 16 hours of emergencies, paperwork, and comforting patients. By the time she pulls back into the driveway at 3 a.m., her body aches and her mind is foggy. The house looks just as she left it, the porch light casting a warm glow over the neatly trimmed lawn. She lets herself in, drops her bag, and heads upstairs to check on Lily, a habit she's kept since her daughter was a baby. The hallway is dark, the oak banister cool under her fingers as she climbs the familiar stairs. She pushes open Lily's door, expecting to see her daughter's small form under the unicorn comforter. But the bed is empty. The blankets are tossed aside, and the window is wide open, letting in a cold breeze that makes the curtains dance. Clara's heart stops. "Lily?" she calls, her voice trembling. No answer. She checks under the bed, in the closet, behind the dresser covered in star stickers. Nothing. Panic claws at her chest as she runs to her bedroom, shaking Daniel awake. Lily's gone, she gasps. She's not in her room. Daniel bolts upright, his face pale. He stumbles to Lily's room, staring at the open window as if it might explain everything. Clara dials 911, her hand shaking so badly she can barely press the buttons. Within minutes, the quiet street is alive with flashing lights. Police officers swarm the house, their radios crackling. They question Clara and Daniel, who stand in the living room, clutching each other, the shock mirroring one another's. "I checked on her before my shift," Clara tells the lead officer, her voice breaking. "She was asleep." "I don't understand." Daniel is quieter, his eyes fixed on the floor, muttering, "I didn't hear anything. I was asleep." The officers note the lack of forced entry, no broken glass, no signs of a struggle, just an open window and a missing 5-year-old. The next few days are a blur of desperation. Search dogs comb the woods behind the neighborhood, their barks echoing through the misty trees. Helicopters buzz overhead, their spotlights cutting through the dawn. Volunteers, neighbors, friends, even strangers join the effort, handing out flyers with Lily's picture, a bright-eyed girl with a gap-toothed smile, wearing a floral dress she loved. Mrs. Ellis, the elderly neighbor next door, tells police she saw a strange car parked on the street that night, a beat-up sedan she didn't recognize. The tip sparks hope, but it leads nowhere. No car matching the description is found. News vans line Elm Street, reporters delivering somber updates. 5-year-old Lily Harper vanished from her home last night. Police have no leads. The community rallies, holding candlelight vigils under the starry Oregon sky, praying for Lily's return. But as days turn to weeks, then months, the search slows. The FBI gets involved briefly, but without evidence of kidnapping across state lines, they pull back. The case grows cold, a file tucked away in a Portland police cabinet. Clara and Daniel try to hold on, but grief is a heavy thing, and it shapes them differently. Clara throws herself into her work, taking extra shifts to numb the pain. The hospital becomes her escape, where the chaos of saving lives drowns out the questions that haunt her. Where's Lily? Is she safe? Is she even alive? Daniel retreats to his basement workshop, spending hours sanding wood or staring at half-finished projects. He starts attending a grief counseling group led by Mrs. Larson, a therapist who specializes in parental loss. Clara goes for a while, too, but the sessions feel like reopening a wound. Their marriage, once a partnership, starts to crack. Small arguments, whose turn to pay the bills, why the dishes are piling up, mask the deeper pain. They both feel it, the unspoken blame. Why didn't you hear something? Why weren't you there? By 1993, the fights are louder, the silence is colder. Clara begins to notice Daniel's habits changing. He locks the basement door when he works, something he never used to do, saying it's to keep his tools safe. She doesn't question it. Grief makes people strange, she tells herself. Years pass, and the house on Elm Street becomes a mausoleum of memories. Lily's room remains untouched, a shrine to a little girl who loved stars and unicorns. Clara keeps her daughter's photo on the nightstand, kissing it every night before bed. The community moves on, but Clara can't. She carries Lily's absence like a weight in her chest, a constant ache that flares up when she sees a child in a floral dress or hears a laugh that sounds like hers. Daniel seems to cope better, or so it appears. He talks about Lily less, spends more time in his workshop, and insists on keeping the house exactly as it was. Clara wonders if it's his way of holding on to their daughter, too. By 2000, 9 years after Lily vanished, they can't pretend anymore. The marriage is over. They sit at the kitchen table one rainy afternoon, signing divorce papers in silence. "It won't bring her back," Daniel says, his voice flat. Clara nods, tears in her eyes. "I know," she whispers. Clara decides to move out, to start fresh in a small apartment closer to the hospital. It's June 2000 now, and she's packing up her life, taping shut cardboard boxes filled with nursing uniforms, medical books, and the stethoscope she got at graduation. Daniel helps, his carpenter's hand steady as he seals boxes with tape. They work in a quiet rhythm, a remnant of their 12 years together. "This one's ready," Clara says, pushing a box toward him. Daniel nods, carrying it to her Honda Civic parked in the driveway. The house feels different now, emptier, even though most of the furniture stays with Daniel. It's his house now, and Clara feels like a guest in her own past. As she tapes another box, her mind drifts to Lily, her laugh, her love for drawing comets, the way she'd begged Clara to tell her stories about the stars. The pain is still there, sharp as ever, but Clara's learned to live with it, or so she thinks. Before leaving, Clara asks to visit Lily's room one last time. Daniel's face softens. "Of course," he says, giving her space. She climbs the stairs, her hand trailing along the banister Daniel built when they moved in. Every creak of the floorboards holds a memory. Lily running down the hall, giggling, or singing made-up songs about the moon. Clara opens the door to Lily's room, and it's like stepping back in time. The walls are still pale blue, dotted with star stickers. The small bed has its unicorn comforter, neatly made, as if Lily might climb into it tonight. The dresser is covered in stickers, moons, planets, comets. Only the window is different, now fitted with security bars that came too late. Clara approaches a small table where Lily's photo sits in a silver frame. Her daughter smiles back, bright-eyed, her floral dress vibrant against the summer grass. Clara kisses her fingers and presses them to the glass. "Goodbye, my little comet," she whispers, her voice breaking. She wipes her eyes, takes one last look, and heads downstairs. She doesn't know it yet, but this goodbye is only the beginning of a journey that will change everything. What do you think happened to Lily that night in 1991? Was it a stranger, someone close to the family, or something else entirely? Drop your theories in the comments below. I'm reading every single one, and I can't wait to see what you think. Let's keep this story ticking. It's June 2000, and Clara Bennett is standing in the middle of what used to be her home, surrounded by cardboard boxes and the ghosts of a life she's leaving behind. The craftsman-style house on Elm Street in Portland, Oregon, feels like a shell now, stripped of the warmth it held when Lily, her 5-year-old daughter, filled it with laughter. Clara's divorce from Daniel Harper is final, and she's packing up to move to a small apartment closer to the hospital where she works as a nurse. The weight of 9 years without Lily presses down on her, heavier today as she seals another box with packing tape. Her nursing uniforms, medical textbooks, and the stethoscope from her graduation are neatly packed, but each item feels like a tether to a past she's not ready to let go. Daniel is there, helping her load boxes into her Honda Civic parked in the driveway. His hands, calloused from years of carpentry, move with the same careful precision he's always had. They don't talk much, but there's a quiet rhythm to their work, a leftover habit from 12 years of marriage. "This one's done," Clara says, sliding a box toward him. Daniel nods, his face unreadable, and carries it outside. The June afternoon is warm, the kind of day that should feel hopeful, but for Clara, it's just another reminder of what's missing. She tries not to think about the house as a mausoleum, a place where memories of Lily linger in every corner. The living room where Lily used to build pillow forts, kitchen where she'd smear peanut butter on her cheeks, the staircase where she'd slide down on a cardboard box, giggling like it was the best ride in the world. Clara and Daniel had tried to keep their marriage together after Lily vanished in 1991, but grief is a cruel architect. It built walls between them, brick by brick. Clara buried herself in extra shifts at the hospital, letting exhaustion silence the questions that haunted her. Where was Lily? Was she scared? Was she still out there? Daniel, on the other hand, retreated to his basement workshop, spending hours with his tools, or so he said. He started going to a grief counseling group led by Mrs. Larson, a therapist who helped parents like them navigate the unthinkable. Clara attended for a while, but the sessions felt like picking at a scab. The arguments started small, forgotten groceries, unpaid bills, but they both knew the real fight was about guilt, blame, the unbearable weight of not knowing. 6 months ago, they'd sat down and admitted it. Staying together wouldn't bring Lily back. As Daniel returns from the car, wiping sweat from his forehead, Clara feels a pang of something like nostalgia. This house, with its creaky floors and oak banister, was supposed to be their forever home. They bought it 10 years ago, dreaming of raising Lily in a safe, family-friendly neighborhood with good schools and quiet streets. Now it belongs to Daniel, and Clara's about to start over in a place that feels like a downgrade. That's most of them, Daniel says, gesturing to the boxes. Just a few more. Clara hesitates, then says quietly, I want to visit her room. One last time. Daniel's eyes soften, a rare crack in his stoic exterior. Of course, he says, picking up another box to give her privacy. Clara climbs the stairs, her fingers brushing the banister Daniel installed when they moved in. Every step feels like walking through a memory. Lily's voice echoing down the hall, her tiny feet pattering as she ran to show Clara a new drawing of a comet. The ache in Clara's chest is familiar, but today it's sharper, like a knife twisting. She pushes open the door to Lily's room, and it's like stepping into a time capsule. The pale blue walls are still covered with glow-in-the-dark star stickers, arranged in constellations Lily made up herself. The small bed is made, its unicorn comforter untouched since that night in 1991. The dresser is cluttered with stickers, moons, planets, comets Lily loved to collect. Clara remembers painting those walls with Daniel, laughing as they flicked paint at each other, Lily giggling from her high chair. The only change is the window, now fitted with security bars that gleam in the afternoon light, a cruel reminder of their failure to protect her. Clara walks to a small table where a silver-framed photo of Lily sits. Her daughter's smile is bright, her blonde curls framing a face full of joy, her floral dress vibrant against a summer meadow. Clara traces the glass with her fingertips, her throat tightening. I miss you, my little comet, she whispers, tears spilling over. She kisses her fingers and presses them to the photo, a ritual she's done 1,000 times. She lingers, breathing in the faint scent of the room, dust, old fabric, and something like Lily's strawberry shampoo. Then she turns, closes the door, and heads downstairs, not knowing this goodbye is only the start of something much bigger. Daniel is waiting by her car. The last box is loaded. They stand in the driveway. Two people who once promised forever, now facing separate lives. You'll be okay? Daniel asks, his voice low. Clara nods, forcing a small smile. I'll manage. We both will. She slides into the driver's seat, rolls down the window, and looks at him. You sure you want to take all this stuff? Daniel asks, glancing at the packed car. Your apartment's not that big. Clara shrugs. If I need space, I'll get a storage unit. It's fine. She pauses, her voice softening. Take care of yourself, Daniel. He steps back, his expression unreadable. Yeah, drive safe. As Clara pulls away, the 15-minute drive to her new apartment feels like crossing a threshold into a new life. The building is a modest complex near the hospital, practical for her night shifts. She's rented a 2-bedroom on the 2nd floor. One for her, one for storage, or maybe for hope, though she doesn't admit that out loud. Moving the boxes is a slow, exhausting process. The building's wheeled cart helps, but Clara still makes multiple trips, her arms aching as she hauls her life up the stairs. Her new neighbors glance curiously, but keep their distance, and that's fine with her. She's not ready for small talk or new connections. By evening, her small living room is a maze of cardboard towers. Clara collapses onto a second-hand couch, her body screaming for rest. She knows she should unpack essentials, work clothes, toiletries, a few dishes, but her eyes keep drifting to a box labeled Lily's Treasures. It's one Daniel packed while she handled paperwork, filled with things Lily loved most. Unable to resist, Clara pulls the box toward her and carefully opens the flaps. Inside, she finds a purple unicorn plush, its fur worn from years of hugs, alongside other toys, a stuffed owl, a bear, a collection of tiny plastic stars Lily used to scatter on her bed. Beneath them are neatly folded dresses and pajamas, still carrying the faint scent of childhood, strawberry shampoo, and graham crackers. Clara's fingers tremble as she lifts out well-loved books. Corduroy, Where the Wild Things Are, The Velveteen Rabbit, their corners bent from Lily's eager hands. Then she sees it, a blue, star-shaped toy recorder, a budget version of the fancy one Lily begged for on her 5th birthday. They'd been saving for a new water heater that year, so Clara and Daniel had settled for this one from a local shop. Clara smiles faintly, remembering Lily's excitement when they gave it to her, how she'd spent hours recording her secret messages. The recorder feels heavier than she expects. Its plastic scratched but intact. She flips open the battery compartment, finding crusty residue from old, leaked batteries. Grabbing a tissue from her purse, she cleans the contacts and digs fresh AAs from a junk drawer. Her heart pounds as she presses the play button. The mechanical click loud in the quiet apartment. Static crackles, and then a small, familiar voice fills the air. Testing, testing. This is Lily Harper, and I'm 5 years old. Clara's breath catches. She hasn't heard her daughter's voice in 9 years. Tears stream down her face as Lily chatters on, talking about her day, her friends at preschool, a comet she saw in a book, the way Daniel promised to take her stargazing. Clara clutches the recorder, her chest tight, as if Lily is right there with her. Then the recording shifts. There's a rustle, the sound of movement, and Daniel's voice comes through, distant but clear. Lily, come to the star room when you're done. Remember what I promised. Once we're finished, we'll go to the toy store for that new unicorn. Clara freezes, her tears stopping cold. Star room? She rewinds the tape, plays it again, listening to every word. Daniel's tone is different, soft, coaxing, not the way he usually spoke to Lily. And star room? Lily wasn't into stars in a princessy way. She loved real stars, constellations, the kind you see through a telescope. Clara frowns, replaying the tape a 3rd time. Why would Daniel call her room the star room? Was it a game they played? Something she missed because of her night shifts? Daniel spent more daytime hours with Lily, after all. Maybe he was trying to make her smile, bribing her with a new unicorn for good behavior. But something about it feels wrong, like a puzzle piece that doesn't fit. Clara searches the box, looking for a unicorn figurine, but finds none. Maybe Daniel kept it, or it's in another box. She sets the recorder down, her mind racing. The star room. The phrase sticks, nagging at her. A tiny crack in a story she thought she knew. Clara Bennett sits in her new apartment, the blue star-shaped recorder still in her hands, her daughter Lily's voice echoing in her mind. It's June 2000, and the word star room from the recording keeps circling, like a song she can't shake. Why would Daniel call Lily's bedroom that? It doesn't make sense. Lily loved constellations, telescopes, the real stuff, not some cutesy nickname. Clara sets the recorder down, trying to push the unease away. She's exhausted from moving, her small living room a fortress of cardboard boxes. She should be unpacking essentials, scrubs for her hospital shift, dishes for the kitchen. But her mind is stuck on that phrase, on Daniel's coaxing tone, on the promise of a new unicorn. It's probably nothing, she tells herself. Just a father playing with his daughter, a memory from before everything fell apart. But the knot in her stomach says otherwise. She starts unpacking, arranging dishes in unfamiliar cabinets, hanging clothes in a closet that feels too small. Photos of Lily go up on the walls, a smiling girl in a floral dress, her eyes bright as the stars she loved. Clara's trying to build a new life, but every step feels like betraying the old one. Hours pass, and the clock ticks toward 8:30 p.m. Clara's night shift at the hospital starts at 10, and she's rummaging through a box-labeled paperwork for her nursing license renewal documents. She needs them to prove her credentials are current. The hospital's strict about that kind of thing, but the manila folder she always kept them in is missing. She checks every box twice, then searches her purse, her car, even the junk drawer. Nothing. Panic creeps in. Without those documents, she could be pulled from her shift, maybe even disciplined. She grabs her new phone, a clunky thing she barely knows how to use, and dials Daniel's number. He answers on the 3rd ring, his voice clipped. "Clara, everything okay?" She explains the missing documents. Her words rushed. I think I left them at the house. Can I come by to look? There's a pause, too long for comfort. I'm at my grief group, Daniel says. Won't be back till late. Clara glances out her apartment window. The sky painted orange and pink as the sun sets. I really need them for tonight's shift. Can I use my key? Another pause. Yeah, sure, Daniel says finally. You know where everything is. Just lock up when you leave. Thanks, Clara says, hanging up. The house key feels heavy in her hand, a relic of a life that's no longer hers. The 15-minute drive back to Elm Street is like stepping into a memory. The craftsman-style house looms against the evening sky, its windows dark except for the porch light Clara left on earlier. It's strange how quickly a home can feel like just a building. She lets herself in, flipping on the entryway light. The house is quiet, too quiet, the air thick with the scent of wood polish and time. She heads straight for the bedroom, Daniel's bedroom now. She reminds herself. The queen bed they shared for 12 years looks wrong with just one pillow. Her jewelry dish is gone from the dresser. Her romance novels cleared from the nightstand. It's like she was never here. The filing cabinet is still in the corner, exactly where she left it. She opens the second drawer, and there it is, the manila folder marked medical licenses. Her original license, renewal forms, continuing education certificates, all there. Relief washes over her. At least this won't mess up her job. She tucks the folder under her arm, ready to leave. But that phrase, star room, nags at her again, like a splinter she can't pull out. Clara finds herself climbing the stairs to Lily's room again, drawn by something she can't explain. The door creaks as she opens it, the pale blue walls and star stickers glowing faintly in the dim light. The room feels bigger without the toys and clothes she packed earlier, but sadder too. She walks the perimeter, her fingers trailing along the walls, searching for something. A star decoration, a clue she missed. There's nothing. No constellations, no telescopes, just the stickers Lily loved. She opens the closet, finding only empty hangers, swaying in the breeze of her movement. Then she notices the antique cabinet against the far wall, its carved star motif catching the light. It's an old piece, one Daniel restored years ago, but it's tilting slightly, one leg not quite touching the floor. Clara kneels, examining the gap. The wooden floorboards beneath are warped, probably from Portland's damp climate. The cabinet wobbles when she touches it, unstable without the weight of clothes inside. She can't leave it like this. Daniel might think someone broke in. Her watch reads 7:30 p.m. Harrison's Hardware, a family-owned store nearby. Stays open until 8. She can grab some wooden shims to level it out and still make her shift. As she heads downstairs, the phone rings, sharp and jarring in the silent house. Clara's hand hovers over the receiver, but she stops herself. This isn't her house anymore. Daniel deserves his privacy. The answering machine clicks on after a few rings, Daniel's recorded voice calm and familiar. You've reached the Harper residence. Please leave a message. A woman's voice follows, warm but concerned. Daniel, this is Mrs. Larson from the grief group. I need you to call me back as soon as possible. We're worried. You've missed 3 sessions now. 3 weeks, Daniel. Please reach out. Clara freezes. 3 weeks? But Daniel just said he was at therapy. 4 or 5 years, every Tuesday evening. He's been going to Mrs. Larson's group for parents of missing children. It's been his lifeline, the one thing he never skipped, even when Clara stopped going, because it hurt too much. Why would he lie about being there tonight? Where has he been going instead? Her mind races, but she pushes it down. It's not her business anymore. They're divorced. Still, the lie sits heavy, like a stone in her gut. Clara grabs her purse and the folder, locking the front door behind her. She slides into her Honda, a hardware store bag she plans to fill already on the passenger seat. The car phone, a luxury left by the previous owner, is her lifeline for emergencies. She picks it up, hesitating, then dials Daniel's number again. The evening air smells of pine and coming rain, the streetlights flickering on along the quiet suburb. The phone rings once, twice. 3 times. She's about to hang up when Daniel answers, his voice strained, almost breathless. "Hello, Daniel, it's me," Clara says, keeping her tone neutral. "Just checking in. Are you at therapy?" There's a long silence, broken only by static on the line. "Yeah, no, but I'm on my way," Daniel stammers. "I had to pick up Ethan. He lives kind of far, but we're going to the session together. I'll be like 15 minutes late." His words spill out too fast, too detailed. Clara knows that tone. She's heard it before, when Daniel planned surprise parties or dodged questions about late nights. He's lying. "I didn't mean to pry," she says carefully. "When I was at the house, a call came in. Mrs. Larson left a voicemail." Daniel laughs, but it's forced, brittle. "Yeah, she gets mad when I'm late. I've been late a few times, so she probably wants to chew me out." Clara's not buying it. Late is one thing. Missing 3 weeks is another. "What did she say?" Daniel asks, his voice too casual. "Just to call her back," Clara says, choosing her words. "No big deal." "Right. Well, I gotta go. Ethan's waiting." "Sure," Clara says. "Drive safe." The line goes dead. Clara stares at the phone, her unease growing. Daniel's lying, and it's not just about therapy. She starts the car and heads to Harrison's Hardware, just 5 minutes away. The bell above the door chimes as she steps inside, the familiar smell of sawdust and paint greeting her. Tom, the owner's son, looks up from the counter with a smile. "Clara, good to see you. How's everything?" "Fine, Tom," she says, forcing a smile. "Just need some shims for a wobbly cabinet." "Aisle 3, he says, ringing up another customer. Then he calls out, "Hey, how's Daniel's renovation going? Need any help? I've got some free time this weekend." Clara stops, confused. "Renovation?" Tom scratches his head. "Yeah, the hobby space he's building. He was in here last weekend, bought a ton of stuff, plywood, paint, new tools. Said he's finally making that workshop he always wanted." Clara's stomach twists. "You must be mistaken," she says slowly. "We're not doing any renovations." Tom frowns. Pretty sure it was Daniel. He was real excited about it. Clara forces another smile. "I'll ask him." "Thanks." She grabs the shims, pays, and heads back to her car, her mind spinning. A hobby space. Daniel hasn't touched a carpentry project for fun since Lily disappeared. He used to carve beautiful figurines, stars, animals, but grief stole that from him. Or so she thought. Clara drives back to Elm Street, the hardware store bag crinkling on the seat. Daniel's lies, therapy, the renovation are piling up, and she can't shake the feeling they're connected to that storeroom phrase. She pulls into the driveway, the house dark except for the porch light. She's just going to fix the cabinet and leave, make it to her shift on time. But as she steps inside, flipping on the entryway light, she notices something odd. Light spills from under Daniel's office door upstairs. She turned off every light before she left earlier. Her heart quickens. "Daniel," she calls, her voice echoing in the quiet house. "Are you home?" No answer, but she hears movement, footsteps, the scrape of furniture, papers rustling. She climbs the stairs, her pulse loud in her ears. The footsteps get faster, more frantic. A drawer slams. "Daniel, is everything okay?" She calls again, reaching the second-floor landing. The office door is slightly ajar, light pouring out. She pushes it open, her words catching in her throat. "Daniel, I thought you were." It's not Daniel. Ethan Cole, Daniel's best friend since high school, stands in the middle of a ransacked office. Papers are scattered across the floor, desk drawers yanked open, books pulled from shelves. Ethan's normally neat hair is disheveled, his face slick with sweat, his eyes wide and glassy. Clara stares, shock rooting her to the spot. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" Ethan turns slowly, his expression blank, almost cold. Claire's known him for years. He's the quiet guy who bonded with Daniel over woodworking, who brought Lily handmade toys, who helped build their deck one summer. But this isn't the Ethan she knows. His pupils are dilated, his movements unsteady, and there's a sharp smell of alcohol mixed with something sour, like desperation. Are you okay? Clara asks, her nurse's instinct kicking in. You look sick. Ethan takes a step toward her, his gaze unnerving. What are you doing here? Clara keeps her voice calm, though her heart's racing. Did Daniel ask you to find something? Ethan doesn't answer. He takes another step, and Clara's alarm spikes. Ethan, stay there, she says firmly. I'm calling a medic. You need help. She reaches for the office phone, but Ethan moves faster than she expects, lunging forward. His hands clamp around her wrists, his grip painfully tight. Let go, Clara shouts, trying to pull free, but his fingers dig deeper. She shoves him hard, breaking his hold, and stumbles backward out of the office, grabbing the door to slam it shut. Ethan catches the edge, wrenching it open. Fear floods through her. This isn't the man who carved wooden stars for Lily. She turns to run for the stairs, but Ethan grabs her from behind, his arms wrapping around her waist. Clara struggles, kicking and twisting as he half carries, half drags her down the hall to Lily's room. He pushes through the door and throws her onto the small bed, the unicorn comforter cushioning her fall. Before she can scramble away, Ethan's on top of her, pinning her down, his breath reeking of whiskey. Ethan, please, Clara begs, pushing against him. Stop this. You have a wife, a daughter. Think of them. His face stays blank, like he doesn't hear her, his hands grabbing at her clothes. Clara's hand finds a ceramic nightlight on the bedside table, a little comet Lily loved. She swings it hard, connecting with Ethan's temple. I'm sorry, she gasps as he grunts and rolls sideways, clutching his head. Clara scrambles off the bed, aiming for the door, but Ethan recovers, grabbing her arm and spinning her around. He slams her back against the antique cabinet, the impact knocking the breath from her lungs. The cabinet, already unstable, teeters and crashes forward with a deafening thud. Wood splinters, and the floor beneath it cracks, revealing a hidden cavity. Dust swirls as Clara, dazed, sees dozens of cardboard boxes stuffed with VHS tapes and VCDs, their labels scrawled with Star Room, Volume 23, Star Room, Volume 47, and more. Ethan's demeanor shifts instantly. His face lights up with a twisted grin. This is what I came for, he mutters, dropping to his knees and grabbing tapes, clutching them to his chest. Clara, still reeling, watches in confusion. What are these? Why are they hidden under the floor? Stop, she shouts, lunging for him, knocking several tapes from his grip. They clatter across the floor as Ethan curses. Gathering what he can, he shoves past her, bolting from the room, his footsteps thundering down the stairs. Clara stumbles to the window, her voice shaky but fierce. I'm calling the police, she yells as Ethan stumbles down the driveway, clutching his stolen tapes. He doesn't look back, doesn't seem to care. Whatever's on those tapes is worth the risk to him. Clara slumps against the wall, her wrists throbbing, her back aching, her mind a storm of dread. What just happened? Why was Ethan here? What's on those tapes? She looks at the broken floor, the boxes of tapes still in the cavity. With trembling hands, she reaches for one, its label reading Star Room, Volume 47. That phrase again, now heavy with menace. She needs answers, and she needs them now. Why do you think Ethan was so desperate for those tapes? What do you think is on them? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm dying to know what you're thinking as this mystery unfolds. Let's keep the clock ticking. Clara Bennett sits on the floor of her daughter Lily's room, surrounded by the wreckage of the antique cabinet she knocked over during her struggle with Ethan Cole. It's June 2000, and the Craftsman-style house on Elm Street in Portland, Oregon, feels like a stranger's now, its silence heavy with secrets. The broken floorboards in front of her reveal a hidden cavity stuffed with boxes of VHS tapes and VCDs, their labels scrawled with Star Room, Volume 23, Star Room, Volume 47, and dozens more. Clara's hands tremble as she holds one, the words Star Room burning into her mind. That phrase, the same one from the blue star-shaped recorder she found in her apartment, feels like a warning now. A key to a door she's terrified to open. Her wrists still ache from Ethan's grip. Her back throbs from being slammed against the cabinet, but the pain is nothing compared to the dread pooling in her chest. What are these tapes? Why was Ethan so desperate to take them? And why were they hidden under Lily's room, in the house where her daughter vanished 9 years ago? Clara's a nurse. She's seen trauma, held hands through heartbreak, but this is different. This feels personal, like a betrayal she can't yet name. She sets the tape down, her breathing shallow, and grabs the phone from her purse. It's 7:45 p.m., and she's already late for her hospital shift, but work is the last thing on her mind. She dials 911, her voice steady despite the panic clawing at her. "This is Clara Bennett," she says when the operator answers. "I'm at 1423 Elm Street. I was attacked in my old house, and I found something, tapes, hidden under the floor. I think they're connected to my daughter's disappearance. Lily Harper, 1991. Please send someone now." The operator's voice is calm, professional, asking for details Clara can barely process. "A man named Ethan Cole attacked me. He took some of the tapes and ran. I don't know what's on them, but I'm scared." The operator assures her officers are on their way and tells her to stay safe, to lock the doors. Clara hangs up, her hand shaking so badly she drops the phone. She stares at the scattered tapes, each one a question mark, a potential piece of the puzzle about Lily's fate. She wants to grab one, find a VCR, see what's on it, but fear stops her. What if it's worse than she imagines? What if it's nothing, just another dead end in a 9-year search? Minutes later, the street outside flashes red and blue as 2 police cars pull into the driveway. Clara opens the front door, her face pale, her scrubs rumpled from the struggle. The lead officer, Detective James Carter, is a tall man in his 40s with a calm demeanor that puts her at ease, even now. His partner, Officer Ramirez, is younger, her eyes sharp as she scans the house. Clara leads them upstairs to Lily's room, explaining everything. The recorder, the star room phrase, Ethan's attack, the hidden tapes. Carter kneels by the broken floorboards, his gloved hands carefully lifting a box of tapes. "How many are there?" he asks, his voice steady but serious. "Dozens," Clara says, her voice cracking. "Maybe 50, 60. Ethan took some, I don't know how many." Ramirez bags a few tapes as evidence, her movements precise. "We'll need to process these," she says. "You said this Ethan Cole is a friend of your ex-husband's?" Clara nods. "Daniel Harper. They've known each other since high school. Ethan's always been quiet, normal. I don't understand why he'd do this." Carter exchanges a glance with Ramirez. "We'll put out an alert for him," he says. "And we'll need to talk to Daniel. Where is he now?" Clara hesitates, the weight of Daniel's lies pressing down. "He said he was at his grief group, but I don't think that's true. The therapist, Mrs. Larson, left a voicemail saying he's missed 3 weeks of sessions. And earlier at the hardware store, the clerk told me Daniel's been buying supplies for some kind of renovation, a hobby space. But he never mentioned anything like that to me." Carter's brow furrows. "A renovation? Here." Clara nods, her stomach twisting. "That's what Tom at Harrison's Hardware said. Plywood, paint, tools. I don't know what for." Carter jots something in his notebook. "We'll check the basement and the rest of the house," he says. "Anything else you can tell us about the tapes or this star room?" Clara shakes her head, tears welling up. "I don't know what it means. Lily loved stars, but not like that. Not as a room. It's not right." Ramirez places a hand on Clara's shoulder, her voice gentle. "We're going to figure this out, Miss Bennett. Let's take this one step at a time." The officers secure the scene, calling for a forensic team to collect the remaining tapes. Clara watches, her mind racing. She thinks back to 1991, when Lily vanished. The police had searched the house top to bottom, Lily's room, the attic, the backyard, even the basement where Daniel kept his workshop. But the basement was always locked, Daniel insisting it was just tools and junk, nothing worth checking. The police hadn't pushed, hadn't seen a reason to. Clara had trusted him, trusted the man she'd married, the father of her child. Now, That trust feels like a knife in her back. I need to know what's on those tapes, she says suddenly, her voice firm despite the tears. Carter looks at her, his expression cautious. We'll review them at the station, he says. But, Miss Bennett, given your daughter's case, you should prepare yourself. This might be tough. Clara nods, swallowing hard. I've been preparing for 9 years. Carter agrees to let Clara come to the station to view one tape, under supervision, while the forensic team processes the house. The drive to the Portland police station is a blur, the city lights streaking past, like falling stars. The station is busy despite the late hour, officers moving through the halls, phones ringing, typewriters clacking. Carter leads Clara to a small room with a TV and VCR, its walls a dull gray that matches her mood. Ramirez joins them, carrying a tape labeled Star Room, Volume 23. We haven't watched this yet, Carter says, his tone heavy. We'll stop it if it's too much. Clara nods, her hands clasped tightly in her lap, her heart pounding like it might break through her ribs. The VCR whirs as Ramirez inserts the tape, and the screen flickers to life. The footage is grainy, clearly recorded on a home camcorder, but the image is unmistakable. It's Lily, 5 years old, her blonde curls bouncing as she sits on a chair in what looks like a basement room. The walls are painted a soft purple, dotted with glowing star decals, and a small telescope sits in the corner. A unicorn comforter lies on a cot, and fairy lights shaped like stars cast a soft glow. Lily's wearing her favorite floral dress, the one from the photo in her room. She's smiling, but it's hesitant, her eyes darting to someone off screen. Daniel's voice comes through, calm and coaxing, just like on the recorder. You're doing great, sweetheart, he says. Just tell the camera about your day. Lily's voice is small, nervous. I went to preschool. We drew comets. I like comets. Clara's breath catches, tears spilling down her cheeks. It's her daughter alive, or at least she was when this was filmed. When was this? The tape has no date, no timestamp. The footage shifts. Daniel steps into frame, his face partially visible, his carpenter's hands adjusting the camera. Let's go to the Star Room now, Lily, he says, his tone still soft, but with an edge Clara doesn't recognize. You know what we do there. It's our special time. Lily's smile fades, her shoulders hunching. She nods, standing up, and follows Daniel to a door painted with star stickers. The camera follows, showing a narrow passage lined with more star decals, leading to another room. The footage cuts abruptly to Daniel, directing Lily to sit on a cot in the new room, the walls covered in star-themed wallpaper, a small TV and VCR in the corner. What happens next makes Clara's blood run cold. Daniel's actions turn inappropriate, not explicit, but wrong, manipulative, the kind of behavior that makes Clara's stomach churn. She can't watch anymore. Stop it, she gasps, her voice breaking. Ramirez hits pause, the screen freezing on Lily's uncomfortable expression. Clara covers her face, sobbing. That's my daughter, she whispers. That's my Lily. Carter kneels beside her, his voice gentle but firm. Miss Bennett, I'm so sorry. We're going to analyze every tape, every detail. This is evidence now. Clara nods, wiping her eyes, but her mind is screaming. The Star Room. It's in the house, in the basement, the one place Daniel always kept locked. She thinks back to the police search in 1991. They'd checked the basement, hadn't they? But Daniel had waved them off, saying it was just tools, storage, nothing to see. The officers had trusted him, just like she had. Now she realizes the basement wasn't just a workshop. It was a prison. He did this, Clara says, her voice shaking with rage. Daniel, he knew where she was. Carter's face is grim. We need to find him. And Ethan Cole. They've got a lot to answer for. Clara's mind spirals as Carter and Ramirez step out to coordinate with the forensic team. She thinks of every moment she missed, every lie Daniel told. The grief group he claimed to attend, the renovation supplies, the locked basement door. She calls Mrs. Larson's office, leaving a voicemail. This is Clara Bennett. I need to know about Daniel Harper's attendance. He said he was at your group tonight, but you left a message saying he missed weeks. Please call me back. The therapist's voicemail from earlier replays in her mind. 3 weeks missed, not just one late session. Clara's anger grows, but so does her fear. If the star room is in the basement, what else is down there? Is Lily still there? The thought is too much, a hope and a horror twisted together. She clutches the edge of the table, trying to breathe. The tapes are the key, but they're also a nightmare, proof of a betrayal she never imagined. Carter returns, his expression serious. We're sending a team back to the house to search the basement thoroughly, he says. We missed something in 91, a hidden room, maybe a false wall. We're also tracking Daniel and Ethan. We've got Ethan's address from DMV records. He's not far, and Daniel's not answering his phone. Clara nods, her voice barely a whisper. I want to be there. When you search, I need to know. Carter hesitates, then nods. You can come, but you stay with an officer. This is a crime scene now. Clara agrees, her resolve hardening. She's been searching for Lily for 9 years, through every sleepless night, every empty lead. Now she's closer than ever, and she won't stop until she knows the truth. The star room, whatever it is, hold the answers, and maybe, just maybe, her daughter. Clara Bennett sits in the back of a Portland police cruiser, her hands clasped tightly, her heart pounding like a drum. It's past 9 p.m. on that June evening in 2000, and the Craftsman-style house on Elm Street looms ahead, its windows dark except for the flicker of police lights. The VHS tapes labeled Star Room, found hidden under the floor of Lily's room, have turned Clara's world upside down. The footage she saw at the station, her 5-year-old daughter, Lily Harper, in a strange basement room with star decals, manipulated by her own father, Daniel Harper, has left her reeling. The realization that Daniel, the man she loved and trusted for 12 years, might have been involved in Lily's disappearance in 1991 is a betrayal that cuts deeper than anything she's ever known. Detective James Carter, sitting in the front seat, glances back at her. We're going in with a full team, he says, his voice steady but heavy with the weight of what they might find. Stay with Officer Ramirez. No matter what happens, you don't go in alone. Clara nods, her throat too tight to speak. 9 years of searching, of praying, of hoping against hope, have led to this moment. The star room. It's in the basement. She's sure of it, and it holds the truth about her daughter. The police team assembles outside the house, their radios crackling in the cool night air. Clara watches from the cruiser as officers in tactical gear move toward the front door, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. Carter leads the way, a battering ram in hand in case Daniel locked the basement door. Clara's mind flashes back to 1991, when the police searched this same house after Lily vanished. They'd checked the basement, hadn't they? But Daniel had brushed it off, saying it was just his workshop, full of tools and sawdust. The officers hadn't pushed, and Clara hadn't questioned her husband. Now, she curses herself for that trust. The tapes, Ethan Cole's desperate grab for them, Daniel's lies about therapy and renovations, they all point to something hidden, something monstrous. Clara grips the edge of the seat, her nails digging into the fabric. Please, let her be alive, she whispers, a prayer to no one and everyone. Carter signals the team, and they enter the house, moving with precision. Clara stays with Ramirez, who keeps a reassuring hand on her shoulder. The weight is agonizing, each minute stretching into eternity. Clara's mind races, replaying every moment with Daniel, the way he locked the basement door, his late nights, his insistence on keeping the house unchanged. How did she miss it? How did she live with a man who could do this? Her thoughts are interrupted by a shout from inside. Carter, down here. An officer calls. Clara's heart leaps into her throat. Ramirez guides her out of the cruiser, keeping her at a safe distance from the house. They've found something, Ramirez says, her voice calm but urgent. Clara follows, her legs unsteady, as they approach the front door. The air inside is thick, the familiar scent of wood polish now mixed with something musty, like damp earth. The officers are gathered in the basement, their flashlights illuminating a corner near the washer and dryer. Clara peers down the stairs, her breath catching. The basement is just as she remembers, cluttered with Daniel's tools, stacks of lumber, a workbench covered in sawdust. But the officers are focused on a section of the wall, where the paneling looks newer, slightly mismatched with the rest of the room. Carter runs his hand along it, then nods to an officer with a crowbar. "There's a seam here," he says. "This isn't just a wall." The officer pries at the panel, and it gives way with a groan, revealing a narrow passage. Clara's heart stops. The passage is lined with star-shaped fairy lights, their soft glow casting eerie shadows. A constellation mural adorns the walls, hand-painted, the kind of work Daniel was capable of. At the end of the passage is a pink door, its surface covered in star stickers, just like the one in the tape. Carter motions for the team to proceed, his voice low. "Careful. We don't know what's on the other side." Clara clutches Ramirez's arm, her knees weak. The battering ram swings, and the door splinters open with a deafening crack. A girl's scream pierces the air, high and terrified. Clara's body moves before her mind can catch up. "Lily!" she cries, breaking free from Ramirez and pushing past the officers. Carter grabs her arm, but she's already at the threshold, staring into the room. It's exactly like the tape. Purple walls with star decals, a telescope in a corner, a cot with a unicorn comforter, a small TV and VCR on a stand. And there in the center is a teenage girl, maybe 14, her blonde hair matted, her eyes wide with fear. She's wearing a star-patterned dress, too small for her now, and she's clutching a stuffed unicorn. "Daddy," she says, her voice trembling, expecting Daniel. Then she sees Clara, and her face crumples. "Who are you?" Clara's heart breaks and soars at the same time. "Lily," she whispers, tears streaming down her face. "It's Mommy." The girl, Lily, backs away, confused, shaking her head. "No, Daddy said the world ended. He said everyone's gone." Clara's knees buckle, but she steadies herself, stepping closer. "Sweetheart, it's me. I used to draw comets on your hand, remember? Like this." She traces an imaginary comet on her own palm, mimicking the motion she did when Lily was little. Lily's eyes widen, recognition flickering. "Mommy," she whispers, her voice breaking. Clara nods, sobbing, and rushes to her, pulling her into a hug. Lily's thin frame trembles in her arms, but she clings back, her fingers digging into Clara's scrubs. The officers step back, giving them space, their faces a mix of relief and horror. Ramirez radios for paramedics, her voice steady despite the emotion in her eyes. Lily's words come in bursts, confused and halting. "Daddy said there was a nuclear war. He said we had to stay here to be safe. He said you were gone, that everyone was gone." Clara's rage flares, but she keeps her voice soft, stroking Lily's hair. "You lied, baby. The world's still here. I'm here. I've been looking for you every day." Lily's eyes search hers, desperate for truth. "Why didn't you come sooner?" Clara's heart shatters, but she holds her daughter tighter. "I didn't know, sweetheart. I didn't know." The room tells a grim story, canned food, a stack of old toys, a notebook filled with Lily's drawings of stars and comets, a TV playing loop cartoons. It's a prison disguised as a child's paradise, a place Daniel built to keep Lily hidden. Paramedics arrive, gently checking Lily's vitals. She's malnourished but stable, her eyes darting nervously, still processing the strangers around her. Clara stays by her side, whispering reassurances, promising she'll never leave again. Carter pulls Clara aside as the paramedics work. "We're sealing this room for evidence," he says. "The tape's the setup. It's bad, Miss Bennett. We're going to find Daniel and Ethan Cole. They've got a lot to answer for." Clara nods, her jaw tight. The basement, the star room, Daniel's lies. It's all crashing together, a nightmare she can't wake from. But Lily's alive, and that's the lifeline she clings to. As the paramedics prepare to take Lily to the hospital, Clara holds her hand, tracing a comet on her palm. "We're going home, my little comet," she says, her voice steady despite the tears. Lily manages a small smile, the first Clara's seen in 9 years. It's a spark of hope in the darkness. But the truth about what happened here, about what Daniel did, is still unfolding. How would you feel reuniting with a loved one after 9 years, only to learn they'd been lied to like this? What would you say to Lily in this moment? Drop your thoughts in comments. I'm reading them all, and I want to hear your heart on this one. Let's keep this story ticking. The Portland police station is a hive of activity, even at midnight. Clara Bennett sits in a sterile waiting room, her hand still clasped around Lily's, who's curled up beside her, wrapped in a hospital blanket. It's June 2000, and the reality of finding her daughter alive after 9 years is still sinking in. The Star Room, that horrific basement prison with its star decals and unicorn comforter, is burned into Clara's mind. The tapes, the lies, Daniel's betrayal. It's too much to process, but Clara's focus is on Lily, whose thin frame and wide, confused eyes tell a story of years lost to a father's manipulation. The paramedics have taken Lily for initial exams, confirming she's physically stable but needs nutrition and rest. Clara's own injuries from Ethan's attack, bruised wrists, a sore back, are nothing compared to the rage and grief battling inside her. Detective James Carter approaches, his face grim but determined. "We've got Daniel and Ethan in custody," he says, "and 6 others. This is bigger than we thought." Clara's stomach lurches. "Others?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. Carter nods, sitting across from her. "We raided a house on the outskirts of Portland based on Ethan's DMV records. Found Daniel there, along with a group calling themselves the Celestial Haven Network. They're a cult, for lack of a better word. They shared videos of their children. Miss Bennett, the tapes from your house, those Star Room tapes, were their most prized collection." Clara's hand tightens around Lily's, who stirs, but doesn't wake. "Videos," she says, her voice shaking. "You mean what I saw on that tape? That wasn't just Daniel." Carter shakes his head, his expression heavy. "It's a network. 8 members, all men, all with access to children, some their own, some not. They traded these tapes, used them to feed their obsessions. Daniel's tapes were the centerpiece, but we found others too." Clara feels bile rise in her throat. Her husband, the man who carved star-shaped toys for their daughter, was part of this? Carter continues, his voice low to avoid disturbing Lily. "We're analyzing every tape, every piece of evidence. The house had a setup like yours. Hidden rooms, locked doors. We've got enough to charge them all, but we need to build the case carefully. Daniel's not talking yet, but Ethan's already slipping. He's scared, trying to cut a deal." Clara's eyes narrow. "What did Ethan say?" Carter hesitates, choosing his words. "He said Daniel planned it all. Lily's disappearance, the Star Room, everything. Ethan was involved, but he claims he was just following orders, obsessed with Lily. He wanted those tapes for himself." Clara's rage surges, her hands trembling. She wants to scream, to demand answers, but Lily's soft breathing keeps her grounded. "I want to see Daniel," she says, her voice cold. "I need to hear it from him." Carter leads Clara to an interrogation room, leaving Lily with a kind social worker who promises to stay close. The room is small, the air stale, a one-way mirror reflecting Clara's exhausted face. Daniel sits at a metal table, his hands cuffed, his carpenter's fingers still, his face blank. He looks up as Clara enters, his eyes meeting hers for the first time since their divorce. "Clara," he says, his voice flat, like he's commenting on the weather. She doesn't take her eyes off him. "Why, Daniel?" she asks, her voice shaking with fury. "Why did you take her? Why did you do this to our daughter?" Daniel leans back, a faint smile playing on his lips, and that's when Clara snaps. She lunges forward, her hand connecting with his cheek in a sharp slap that echoes in the room. Carter grabs her gently, pulling her back. "Enough," he says, but there's no judgment in his voice. Daniel touches his cheek, his smile gone. "She loved me," he says quietly. She still does. Clara's vision blurs with tears, but her voice is steel. "You lied to her. You told her the world was gone, that I was dead. You kept her in a basement for 9 years. Daniel's eyes flicker, but he doesn't deny it. Instead, he leans forward, his voice low, almost confessional. It started before she was born, Clara. The group, the network. They showed me things, taught me things. I didn't want to hurt her. I wanted to keep her safe, special. The star room was for her. Clara's stomach churns. Safe, she spits. You filmed her. You let those men watch her. Daniel's face hardens. They admired her. They understood. Clara turns away, unable to look at him, her hands shaking with the urge to hit him again. Carter steps in. That's enough, Harper. You're done. He guides Clara out, her body trembling with rage and disgust. Back in the waiting room, Clara learns more from Carter's hushed updates. The police have pieced together Daniel's plan from Ethan's statements and the tapes. In 1991, Daniel staged Lily's disappearance, opening her window to make it look like an abduction. He built the soundproof star room in the basement, using his carpentry skills to hide it behind a false wall. He told Lily the world had ended in nuclear war, that they were the last survivors, that she had to stay hidden to be safe. He fed her lies, fed her fears, all while filming her for the Celestial Haven network. The group met in secret, calling their gatherings stellar meetings, trading tapes like currency. Daniel's were the most sought after, his meticulous setup, the telescope, the star decals, the unicorn comforter, making Lily's tapes their twisted prize. Clara listens, her heart breaking for every moment Lily lost, every lie she believed. The community's reaction filters through as news spreads. Mrs. Ellis, the neighbor who saw a strange car in 1991, tells a reporter she always thought Daniel was too quiet, too perfect. A fictionalized expert, Clara, hears about later explains grooming tactics, how predators build trust, isolate their victims, create false realities. It fits Daniel perfectly. His lies so convincing even Clara believed them. The police arrest 6 other men in the network, their homes revealing more hidden rooms, more tapes, more children. The scope of it is staggering, a web of evil hidden in plain sight. Clara sits with Lily, who's still processing the truth, her eyes darting nervously. He carved stars for me, Lily whispers, holding a wooden star figurine from the room. He said it was our secret. Clara takes the figurine, setting it aside. No more secrets, baby, she says. Just us now. Clara Bennett and her daughter Lily sit in a hospital room, the morning light filtering through the window. It's the day after Lily's rescue in June 2000, and the Portland hospital is quiet, the beeping of monitors a soft backdrop to their fragile reunion. Lily, now 14, looks small in the hospital bed, her blonde hair clean but limp, her star-patterned dress replaced with a gown. She's been given 4 fluids, her malnourishment addressed, but the emotional scars are deeper, harder to treat. Clara holds her hand, tracing a comet on her palm, a gesture that calms Lily even now. The truth is sinking in for both of them. 9 years stolen by Daniel Harper, Lily's father, who kept her in a basement star room, convincing her the world had ended. Clara's heart aches with every glance at her daughter. But there's hope, too, in the way Lily's fingers curl around hers, in the small smile she gives when Clara promises to take her stargazing again. Lily's questions come slowly, each one a knife to Clara's heart. Why did Daddy lie? She asks, her voice small. He said you were gone, that I had to stay with him to save the world. Clara takes a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. Your father did something terrible, sweetheart. He wasn't trying to save you. He was hurting you. What he did wasn't love, no matter what he said. But I'm here now, and I love you more than anything. Lily's eyes fill with tears, her confusion raw. I thought he was keeping me safe. He said the stars were watching us. Clara wipes her daughter's tears, her own falling freely. The stars are still there, Lily. They're real, and we'll see them together. No more lies. Lily nods, but her gaze is distant, processing a world she thought was gone. A social worker, Miss Thompson, sits nearby, explaining that Lily will need therapy, time, and support to rebuild her understanding of reality. Clara listens, nodding, her resolve unshaken. She'll do whatever it takes. The hospital room becomes their temporary home as Clara plans their future. She's already looking at new apartments, ones with big windows for Lily to see the sky. A room where she can paint her own constellations. The police investigation continues, with Detective Carter updating Clara regularly. Daniel and Ethan Cole, along with the 6 other members of the Celestial Haven Network, face multiple charges: kidnapping, child endangerment, and worse. The tapes, now fully cataloged, reveal years of manipulation, not just of Lily, but of other children. Each case a new wound for the families involved. Clara learns that Daniel's obsession began before Lily's birth. His involvement with the network a secret he kept even during their marriage. The community is reeling. Neighbors who once saw Daniel as a quiet carpenter now whisper about the monster next door. A local news report, which Clara catches on a hospital TV, quotes an expert on grooming. These predators create worlds of control, making victims believe they're loved, even as they're harmed. It's a chilling explanation, one that helps Clara understand how Daniel manipulated Lily's reality. Clara and Lily spend hours talking, rebuilding their bond. Lily asks about her old friends, her school, the life she missed. Clara tells her stories, about the time Lily insisted on wearing a comic costume to preschool, about their backyard stargazing nights when Lily named stars after her stuffed animals. Slowly, Lily's smile returns, though it's fragile, like a star just peeking through clouds. One afternoon, Lily looks at Clara, her voice hesitant. "Can we go to a planetarium? Like a real one? I want to see the stars again, but not like before." Clara's heart swells. "Yes, baby," she says. "We'll go to the planetarium, and we'll learn every constellation together." It's a small step, but it's Lily reclaiming something Daniel tried to twist. Clara keeps the star-shaped recorder, not as a reminder of the horror, but as a symbol of Lily's voice, her strength, her survival. As days pass, Clara and Lily prepare to leave the hospital. Clara's taken leave from her nursing job, her colleagues sending cards and flowers, their support a lifeline. She's found a new apartment, a cozy 2-bedroom with a view of the Portland skyline, perfect for Lily to start fresh. Therapy is scheduled, and Clara's already researching schools, determined to give Lily the normal life she deserves. The police case moves forward, with Daniel facing life in prison, Ethan and the others likely to follow. Clara doesn't care about the trials. She cares about Lily, about helping her heal. She knows the road ahead is long, that the scars of 9 years won't fade easily, but she's ready. She's been fighting for Lily since that night in 1991, and she'll never stop. "We're a team, my little comet," she tells Lily, kissing her forehead. Lily smiles, a real smile this time, and whispers, "I like that." Every year, thousands of children go missing in the U.S., some found, some lost forever. Lily's story is one of survival, a testament to a mother's love that refused to give up. For anyone out there searching for a loved one, hold on to hope. It's a light that can guide you through the darkest nights. And for those who've been through trauma, know that healing is possible, one step, one star at a time. What helps you find hope in the darkest moments? Have you or someone you know overcome something like this? Share your stories in the comments. I'm here for every word, and I know our community is too. Let's keep this clock ticking. And that's the story of Lily Harper, a little girl who survived 9 years of unimaginable lies, and Clara Bennett, the mother who never stopped searching. This case, with its twists and turns, reminds us that love can break through even the darkest secrets, that hope can light the way home. Here at the Crime O'Clock, we're committed to telling stories like these. Stories that shock, that move, that make you think. If this one hit you hard, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you never miss a case. If you want to support us in bringing more stories to life, check out our Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. Every little bit helps keep this clock ticking. Next time, we're diving into another chilling mystery, one that'll keep you up at night. Until then, stay curious, stay safe, and keep searching for the truth. This is the Crime O'Clock, signing off.